Hello everybody, I'm back with a puzzle today which comes to me from Dave Couture, who reached this position in the Pillsbury Memorial recently. It's a game in 60 tournament. He has the white pieces and it's white to move, number 44. Uh, what Dave told me is that when he looked this up with a table base, it turns out it's mate and 20, but there's only one winning move. Everything else is a draw for white. So I thought I would spend, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, maybe like he could in the game, without the threat of the clock running. Dave ended up with a draw, pretty reasonable considering you have to think about the rest of your tournament. And you could probably get bound up pretty well by trying to count every possible square. So what do we know so far here? We see opposing H-pawns. Obviously, with this bishop protecting white's pawn, black could never win, and so that explains why there are no losing chances if you do everything right. We see the squares where the bishop could go. Maybe going in this direction makes a little sense if maybe the king was going around and you thought you could invade, but I doubt that that's thematic. Probably more likely what's happening is we have to get the king to move 2, 3, 4 times and then run the pawn. That's 5 moves, so 9 moves out of the 20. You have 11 moves to mate. Maybe the mate is even less if there's some intermediate moves we have to do. And we have to do all that while not letting this black king get over here in such a way that he can't be evicted because we don't have the right color bishop for the queening square. So we're going to need to figure out a way to shoulder black's king out from invasion while winning the pawn. And so let's see what we can think of. So we want to win the pawn. I suppose h6 is the first try. If black tries to hold the pawn, he'll lose it, so that can't be right. So let's go back. So I guess g6 is going to result in the same thing, except that knowing black can't hold the pawn, he's going to be able to go around the corner much quicker this way. So I'm going to suggest that king f6 is the best of the 3 6th rank squares for the king. So since we know that holding the pawn is not possible, black is going to probably have to go to the e file and maybe stay in that direction as much as possible. So we'll try e4. And then if white tries to win the pawn, then obviously black gets around the corner, and that's a draw. So we can't do that. So king g5 can't be right. I don't imagine any kind of deflection is going to work, because even if we sacrificed our bishop, the king can't get in here fast enough for the king to either go around, or if, now let me get rid of some of these things, if the white king was able to win this h4 pawn while the black king was in the vicinity of f4, then the black king could just move to f4. It's getting messy. But the point is, as white's king would then move up the board, black would just track it. So that's a draw. So we can't try to win that pawn yet. So maybe we could waste some time with the bishop while still protecting the pawn. We could go this way. We have a lot of choices. Okay, so that seems like a status quo because white king can just come back and we're just going to tread water this way. And if we do try to get in there, yeah, maybe this is something, but I don't think that was exactly right. Well, at least here we've blockaded black from making any progress. So once again, you could try to hold the pawn, but white king will attack the pawn and black's in zugzwang. So maybe black could then go over here. Seems kind of close, but I don't think I quite have it yet. All right, well, with the idea that my clock is running, I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and, oh, I don't need to do that. Let's back up because I think the table base is here. So let's go back to the beginning, and if I click this, it's the table base. Yeah. So what do we have? Okay, so there's king f6 is the winning move, and all those bishop moves, other king moves draw. Now imagine it's because the king can get around the corner or something. And then you, could even lose. Well, sure, you can give your bishop away. That wouldn't be very bright. Okay, so let's see. King f6. And then for black, all three moves are losing. Well, we think that king g3 is losing just because he can't hold the pawn. And king e3 is the same reason, because the white king would get to g5 and win the pawn. So let's check out king e4. Oh, was I that close? I might have been kind of close. So bishop e6. Did I say? I might have had it go over here to d7. It's funny, you know, those backward knight moves are kind of a blind spot for people, and sometimes in this case, I think moving the bishop a nice long distance seemed right, but it looks to me then like black tries to hang around. Well, at this point, there's a ton of winning moves. Wow. Okay, I didn't think about that it gets easier and easier if you do the right thing first. Okay, so let's check out a couple of them. Bishop f5. Okay, so now white is controlling a lot of squares. We know that black can't go here because we're just going to win that pawn. So, okay, so we waste a little time with the bishop, but we protect some squares. And when we do that, we've driven the king back to the third rank, and in so doing, we could now invade and win the pawn. Yeah. Okay, so again, this time looking at it from the side, black can't move up the board, has to move this way, and then we can shoulder the king off, and we'll move toward g7, and then eventually the pawn runs. Okay, that's interesting. That makes a lot of sense. There was one other variation. Let's try to go back a few moves. That no. All right, bear with me. Okay. This is the one that kind of caught my eye. Bishop c4. Okay, so let's check out what white controls. So black can go to some other square. King g, they're all losing. King g3. Probably be, all right, we can't protect the pawn, we know that. King f3 is probably a better try to protect the pawn, but it won't work because we can waste time with our bishop. We better not waste too much time. We have to protect our own pawn. Yeah, here's a place where maybe you could go behind it, because if the black king wants to chase it, we grab the h pawn and then run. All right, so there's a few options. But I was right about king f6, but I didn't see the subtleties of trying to put the king and the bishop next to each other and make a little blockade where the black king has to then retreat to the third rank, and that one rank is all the difference. All right. Thanks, Dave, for the position and the puzzle. I'll, if I can figure out how, I'll link to Dave's YouTube channel in the comments, where he posts a lot of chess chat videos, which are public access shows that he and Wachusett tournament director George Mirjanian do once a month in Fitchburg. So if you like, leave comments, and thanks a lot for watching.